So today was the highest volume day for Aduro stock. Almost $10 million worth of stock traded today. Unbelievable. If I were to make a guess, tomorrow the stock is going to be up. But I never make those guesses, but if I were to make it, that's probably what's going to happen. So I want to talk about some misconceptions, some comments, and it never fails. Every time the company raises money, it's the same complaints. Oh, why such a big discount? Why do they need to do it now? Why is there half a warrant? It just never fails. Aduro has been doing this since the time that I got involved. And what is the result of doing it? Look at this. Look at where the stock price is because of doing it, up 700%. So let's first discuss why the stock was down today because of the pricing. So the financing was at 844, okay, with a half a warrant. So what you had is a combination today of people that the private placement is pretty much closed. It's going to close tomorrow. It's probably already closed. So when you have individuals that have to fund the private placement tomorrow, what do you think they're going to do today? They're going to sell the stock today, and they're going to send and wire the money to the company tomorrow or by tomorrow, right? And even though the price is below 844, it still makes sense for them to sell it, let's say at 8, because the warrant or half a warrant that they're getting is worth a lot of money. But that selling is done. It's done for tomorrow. It's not going to happen. But some of the things that, misconceptions are like pricing. Why was it at such a big discount? It wasn't really at a big discount. If you look at the last 6 months, it's June 10 right now. June 10, right? On May 27th, 10 days ago, the stock was at 823. What? It's above that. What kind of discount are we talking about? There's no way that they could possibly raise the money at $11. And all the complaints and misconceptions come from inability to put yourself in the shoes of other people. There's two parties involved. There's two parties there. The people that want to come into the financing and the company, and they're negotiating, they're fighting over terms. And this private placement talks didn't start five hours ago. They started probably 4 weeks ago. Remember when the company filed a prospectus to a shelf prospectus to be able to raise, I think it was $25 million over the 2.5 years or something like that. Well, that's when the whole thing started. And if you think about it, they went public or uplisted on NASDAQ in November. The stock was more than double. So what is happening during that time? You know that everybody's knocking on their doors. You know that the investment bankers want to make the fees. So they're already in talks for like 3 weeks, probably more. So when they started the talks, the stock was probably here, or maybe in around $5. That's when probably the talks started. Okay, and then the stock started to run. So it probably made it more difficult because every time they had agreed on some kind of price, they had to reprice it because the stock keeps on running. But people are complaining because 3 inches in front of the face, they always operate 3 inches in front of the face. The stock was, $11 or $12, and they're like, oh, why such a big discount? It's not. When you look at these transactions, the people that come into the financing, let's say you come into the financing, are you going to pay $11 just because it was there for a few minutes? No, you're going to look at where the stock was trading over the last few weeks. And considering that, like literally May 10, 4 weeks ago, the stock was at 627 4 weeks ago, and now you're willing to pay 844. That's amazing. Now, the other thing is, people are saying, why did they give half a warrant? I guarantee you that the financiers wanted a full warrant, and they only got half a warrant, right? And so you again, it's a negotiation tool. You got to give in, right? You have to give people an incentive to want to participate. Then the other thing was, why didn't they wait till the pilot? The pilot is just around the corner. Why not wait till the pilot? Let me ask you this: do you want the stock price to go up when the pilot is successful? Because if they waited, there's no chance for the stock price to go up. Why? Because by the time they get to the pilot, 3 months, or I don't know how many months are left. By the time they get to the pilot, finish the pilot, do you know how much cash they would have left in the bank? Maybe 2.5 million, something like this. How much is this going to last? 2 or 3 months. So at that point, you know what would happen? The stock wouldn't go up, because people would anticipate that they need to raise money. So why buy in the open market if we know that within 3 months, they have to raise money? So then they would be like, people would be complaining, well, but the pilot was so great, why isn't the stock price going up? Because there's a financing overhang, and this completely removed the financing overhang completely. Because now, when the pilot is done and it is successful, and you want to buy the stock, guess what? You have to buy it in the open market. So that's why this is a very good move. You want to remove the overhang. Why do you think Oracle Resource Corp, the stock cannot go up, even though the net present value is more than $1 billion? Because there's financing overhang, because they failed to raise money when they should have done. And now everybody is like, well, why should I buy? I can just wait for them to do a financing. That's what they just did. They removed that. And also, you want to raise money when you don't need it. Just like banks want to give you a loan when you don't need it. You want to raise money when nobody's expecting it. Okay? Nobody's expecting it. It's quiet. Boom, boom, done. Move on. Also, why is this such a genius move? Is think about all the negotiations that are happening. We know that they have more than $10 multi-billion at that table, right? Testing the technology, moving to the next level, maybe moving into collaboration, maybe having discussions about the commercial unit. Do you want Aduro to be at a weak position? Have not a lot of cash so that somebody else can take advantage of them? No, you want Aduro to be strong. And then those parties, for example, how long has it been? More than 2 years since they entered the Game Changer program, Shell Game Changer program, and we still don't know, right? We still don't know what's going to happen. So these big companies, they take their sweet time, right? Because, for example, prior technologies that they tried, they pretty much all failed, right? So they're going to take their time to test a new technology. They're going to have board meeting after board meeting, negotiation after negotiation. They take their sweet time, right? And so with cash, Aduro can be like, you know what? You take your sweet time. You go have your board meetings, lunches, discussions, negotiations. But you know what? We're building our own unit. You guys can talk. You guys can think about it, dream about it, whatever you want. We got our own. We got our own path. We got cash. We're building a pilot. We're building a demo unit. And whenever you stop sucking on your thumbs, we'll be okay. And also, if the more time that passes, the more we get de-risked, the more the company has, demo unit, this or that, the more negotiating power it has. Because, today, if they entered into some kind of commercial agreement with a big oil company or big company, that company probably could get a good deal because it would be the first one, and it would actually help Aduro's market cap to have somebody, of that size to, validate the technology, whatever. It would actually help. But later, when Aduro has a pilot, when Aduro has a demo, they're not going to be as helpful anymore because Aduro is helping itself, right? So then the negotiations about how much they can get for royalty or pay for royalty are going to be completely different. And if let's say the pilot is good, they build a demo next year now that they raised the money for, and then the market cap goes to $1 billion or a couple billion, well, then it's not so important anymore to have somebody else, approve or validate the technology, somebody out from the outside world, right? Because now it's like, well, look, we know it's working. We have a pilot, we have a demo. Now we have everybody, all the banks, all the project financiers want to finance us. You're not that important to us anymore. You see what I mean? So this is all very important. The same thing when it comes to grants. The CEO talked about grants many times. They might get grants, but a lot of times with the grants, they want you to have cash in the bank too. And not only that, they want you to achieve certain milestones before they give you money. And how can you achieve certain milestones if you don't have enough cash in the bank, right? So if you want Aduro to succeed, you should be clapping for this. You should be happy that they are getting cashed up. And again, $10 million traded today. Tomorrow, the financing closes. Don't be surprised if the stock starts soaring again tomorrow.